Hello friends, welcome to UPSC Prism. I have started this channel to share my experience and learnings with UPSC. This is my first video, and in this video my focus will be on prelims examination because now I think it has become a tricky part because most of the people are doing same mistakes which I think I did in my previous attempt, and I was not able to clear the prelims 2023. But I believe you should take failure as a natural step in the process of success. So I took a few days to analyze the mistakes I did, and in this video I will be sharing what mistakes you should avoid now, because see, you can learn from your own mistakes, but if you learn from others' mistake, you are already ahead in this race. So I will also be sharing my strategy, that how I improved my preparation to clear prelims 2024 with confidence. Now let's start the video. First, let's discuss the mistakes itself. So here are few mistakes I mentioned. First one is too many resources, because it's not like only new students make this mistake, but I have seen people who have given 3-4 attempts also tend to make this mistake. Second is less revision of static and too much emphasis on current affairs. But I have seen people not revising static but reading all sources of current affairs like daily magazine, monthly magazine. Third is less number of mock tests, giving mock tests but not analyzing them thoroughly. Later I will tell in this video how to analyze mock test. And the last one is poor time management, like given equal time to all subjects. For example, history, not really for me, so I'll manage it accordingly. Also, other like no proper plan. If you don't make a proper plan, you don't even know how much you have to do in what time. Okay, so these are the mistakes, and after analyzing these mistakes I changed my strategy. I targeted 4 parts of preparation differently this time for prelims 2024. So I divided my strategy into 4 parts: static, current, revision and test. I'll talk about each of them in detail. So let's first start with static. For static, I think the most important thing is following limited resources. It may seem easy, but it's not. You will be easily tempted. So you need to make sure whatever the resources you choose, stick to that only and have faith. Also, there can be few topics here and there which you may find good somewhere else that you can follow, but largely stick to the same resources. Now, question is why? The very first thing, syllabus itself is quite fast, and to put a limitation on your reading, because you cannot read endlessly. And second one is following too many resources will lead to you won't be able to revise them when exam is near. So if you can't revise, you won't be able to remember. And the third is limited time. You have a limited time, and there are other portions which you have to manage also, like optional with use weightage. So let's make a rule: if you can't revise something in future multiple times, do not go for it. For example, in first year of my preparation I followed the monthly magazine of current affairs, but when 2-3 months of exam were left, I realized that I cannot even revise all of them again, and all that precious time went in vain, which I could have devoted to other static portion or optional, which has huge weightage as mains. So please paste this rule around your study table. Now let's talk about current affairs. I believe it is something being overemphasized. I'm not saying you should not do it. It is very important. But as I have told above, I have seen people following current affairs too much and not revising the static part multiple times, which is the key. And current is only a supplementary thing. Another thing about current is students are always in doubt, like how to follow the current. So for it, I think there are two types of people. First one who likes to read daily newspaper and they are enjoying that process. They can continue to do so. But second who don't like this process, so they can follow what I did, leave it to the yearly compilation like PT365 and please trust this process. Also, why I am saying this? See, if you initially focus entirely on reading static and revising it multiple times along with some test of strategy, then your static part is at your tips. And when you will follow this yearly compilation of current affairs, where you will find most of the info is static, which you have already know, then focus only on current affairs info. So this will take less time. It will be a less boring activity to do because I have seen people feel bored reading those magazines because they are bulky. And another mistake they do is they read it line by line, which is not the right way. Now let's understand it with the example of PT365 of 2024 of polity. This is PT365 of polity by Vision IS. So if you see the first topic, the basic structure doctrine, it is a static part. You have read all of this 1973 Keshwanand Bharti case, what it do, it upheld the 24th and 25th Amendment, what are the essential features, basic structure, all this you have read. There is no mention. So you can clearly see all this is a static information. What you can do is only focus on main part like these all cases or there is no mention. That's it. Most of the information here is static, which you have already done. So you have to skip this part. Now see this second news. Independence of district judiciary. Most important thing is here district judiciary independence is also part of basic structure. That's it. All of this information is a static part. Now this third article, the abrogation of Article 370. Here the only news you need to focus is that Supreme Court has upheld it and the reasons for it. There are these reasons too. The J&K did not retain any element of sovereignty after it acceded to India in 1947. And second, it was already a temporary and transitional provision. That's it. All this information which is written here, it is a static part. Now, if you see this article, the National Capital Territory of Delhi Amendment Act 2020, this is something you need to focus on. Because these acts or new policies, you need to focus mainly on these things. Because these are actual current affairs which may be asked. So, this composition of NCCSA, it is a statutory body, it gives recommendation to LG and majority voting pattern. Central government will appoint both principal secretary and chief secretary. So it expands the discretionary role of LG by giving him ultimate say because this final decision. That's it. All this information evolution of Delhi government, this is all static. So now you must have understood, right? Because if you see now, it will be easy for you if static is already at your fingertips. That is multiple revisions. And also one more thing, if you see the papers of 2023 and 2024, you will realize that your focus should be on static part. Now let's talk about this third part, that is revision. Revising multiple times again and again is the must thing because you need to understand it. UPSC is also a game of memorization along with the understanding definitely. So for a better revision, you must have a plan, a daily plan. Because I've seen most of you will also agree, we tend to waste more time when we are confused or in doubt what to study, where to start. But if you already have a plan, it is more likely to be followed. And if, see, not saying you will be able to do 100% what you have planned. But if 70 to 80% is done, it is a success. Believe me, people are not able to do it. Similarly, you can also revise a subject-wise plan or overall revise cycle planning. Okay, I will revise this subject this time, these many times. Okay, because see, you will realize the benefit of this study plan because it makes it easy to track your progress because you know how much you have done in what time, how much time you have left, and how much to do. So it may also give you a sense of motivation when you are not following the plan. It may give you a motivation. And one more thing about this plan is please try to make it as realistic as possible at your own pace of study. Do not follow others like he's completing this book in 4 days, so I will also do. No, your pace of study may be slow or you can be even fast. So do it at your own pace of study. Do not try to make idealistic plan because you will not be able to follow it in long term or even in short term. Okay. So now last and the most important thing is giving mock test and previous year questions because it doesn't matter how much you read and revise. The only thing matters is how much you recall. Star forum. Okay. So I believe you should give previous year questions at least from 2016 to 2024 because it will give you a UPSC mindset, how UPSC frames questions, how it frames options. Okay. And then I think at least 30 mock tests. You can give more, but I think at least 30 mock tests with thorough analysis, which is very important. And now as I have told, I will tell you guys what is thorough analysis. So, what is thorough analysis of mock test? After giving 4 5 mock tests, you should be able to determine the appropriate number of questions for you to attempt to have the maximum marks. Because see, there are two types of people here. One who have great accuracy, okay, but they attempt less questions. Like if someone will attempt 60 65 questions, but he will correct 50 right or 55 correct out of 70. And there are other people who have less accuracy, so they need to attempt more questions, like 90, between 85 to 90. So if you are correcting 60 right and 30 wrong, you can still be in the race. Okay, so you can only determine these things through mock test. Another thing, like subject wise analysis, like which subjects are you lacking, so can you give more time to it, or giving more time is really beneficial for the subject. And another thing also about subject is, see, you must have realized there are some subjects in which your guesswork is most of the time right. Okay, and there are some subjects where your guesswork is most of the time wrong, so you need to identify these type of subjects. So for me, like economy, my guesswork is most of the time right, so I will try to attempt more and more questions from economy. And like for history, the most of the time my guess is wrong, so I will not attempt question of history unless I'm pretty sure about it. Okay, so all these things you will be able to analyze. Okay, after giving 5 to 6 or even let's say 10 tests, analyze all these things. Now the last thing about thorough analysis is, see, the type of questions now UPSC is asking, because see, now there is no elimination technique. So in the mock test you should analyze all options and what is the explanation correctly, because sometimes see, sometimes you may have marked the answer right, but if you see the explanation that is not in sync what you have thought. Okay, also sometimes I've seen ki the you are being asked about correct options. Okay, so you know what is correct, but you are not sure why this is incorrect. You also need to know why this is incorrect, because you see these papers right now. only one, only two, only three, and the matching with 3 columns. Okay, so you need to make sure that you use these mock tests very thoroughly now. So that's it for the strategy part. And doing all this, the prelims 2024 felt easy for me. But few things you also need to understand that on exam day, the pressure is there. No matter how much prepared you are, try to remain calm and do not doubt your preparation. Please do not doubt your preparation. I will tell you example. For example, in 2024 prelims, I started the paper. On first page there were 5 questions and I was not able to solve all of them. But yet I remained calm and flipped my paper, started from back, and I was able to do 10 questions easily, which built my confidence. So for all these things you need to be ready. And how you can be ready? These all things you should try in mock test. All the things which came into your mind, try those in mock test itself. Okay, so that's it from my end. You can follow this strategy, but it's not like you should do exactly what I said, because see, there is not a single strategy for success or for clearing the exam. If you like some part, you can follow that only. Now I'll quickly talk about how you can still clear prelims 2025 following this strategy, as there are still 5 months left. So what you can do is you can devote initial 2 months to static, reading and revising the static part again and again, and another 3 months you can devote to the current affairs, that is the yearly compilation, along with test and the revision of those test explanations. Okay, so this way you will be able to cover the whole 4 parts which I discussed above. And if you guys want, I can also share a detailed 5-month broad roadmap for prelims 2025 based on this strategy, which will cover all 4 aspects needed for prelims in the next video. Now I'll end this video, and if you guys want, I can also talk about some other things which you are facing issues somewhere and subjects you are worried about. You can tell me in comment section. See you in the next video. For now, all the best and utilize your time wisely.